thank everyone for sticking it out for poetry on this beautiful day. I want to thank Quiet Lightning, Curtis Street Workshop. I'm a graduate of the Interdisciplinary Writers Lab. I was part of Aperture, so I definitely encourage y'all to check them out. They do great work, awesome reading series, great community. Also want to give a shout out to Jason because it's his birthday. What? Also, y'all gotta check out his new book, Locust, through Omnidon. That just dropped, so check that out. One left. Be that lucky person. As she appears. And who asks after a woman alone in the forest? And to bring the origins of language and set them on the table, cleared of dishes, and to become heavy with the accumulation of texts, and who listens when she speaks, and what is her color story, and how many shades of red does a woman bleed each month, the uses of passion and her arrival as a blade, and what is the indigenous history of the land and its names. She sits in the field at dusk as fireflies flare and rise. And will the witches let her in? And by what means of initiation? And how to correct and how to reinvent? A woman in the wild and a wild woman. She sets her hands in the river and walks into the open water. And how much anger can a woman keep? And if her song is off key, the trees become caryatids, the women lift their leaves, as she brings fire and smoke after years of care. So this next poem is loosely using a form that poet Jericho Brown invented. It's called the duplex form, and it uses repetition. And it's in his latest book, The Tradition, which I highly recommend. Refrain. My heart sleeps while light lies in its envelope. If I startle, I dig into my retreat. I mean, I choose myself. Some can only love once. How true will it be? I love sequins, but get the sequence confused. To once love, I found my dearest friend. So now every face grows stranger. Stranger, speak to me like light through a veil. Like a spent match, she turns to look for me, and I fade at what's unsaid. A sequoia has every vowel, every vow like a closed hand. When I've worn my body down from dancing, I still point to the sky. I will honor my body, my only body, its honor, my will. I think we have some poetry fans over there. So in my poems, I've been thinking a lot about inheritance, especially for women, especially for queer women, and also being a fourth generation Chinese American myself. It's a huge honor and experience to be here at Angel Island, where some of my ancestors came through. I'm actually doing some of that research now as part of my Headlands experience. I definitely know that at least one great-grandmother came through because she needed approval to come through because of the Chinese Exclusion Act, and women were forbidden to come unless they were wives of merchants. So yeah, just so much powerful history and literature that came out of Angel Island, and I'm looking forward to continue to do that work, and I encourage y'all to check out the space if you haven't gone already. Portrait of a painting. At the museum, the ocean drawn in pencil is no longer on display. I once thought I could wreck that water, She liked a photo-like painting of a German woman reading a newspaper that mirrored my favorite painting of a Dutch woman contemplating a water pitcher in cathedral light. We walked gallery to gallery, and no women resembled us. I love certain French words, but forget what they mean, and never learn how to properly pronounce them. Crudité, de rigueur, au courant. Sometimes, eventually, couples look like echoes of one another. We wore our hair in low ponytails, like George Washington, and unsexy glasses. She would photograph me as I glanced at a curvaceous mountain range, a curator's note on the Elgin marbles, the drop down to the city from Montmartre, or a California forest floor where I couldn't meet the camera's gaze, though I knew that she was there and that she would hold me at a distance. So I have two poems in thinking specifically about being Asian American. I did my MFA in my early 30s, which in poetry land is like very old. But I'm so glad I waited to do my MFA since I did my undergrad in the late 90s, early 2000s, where there was no Kundiman, hardly any Asian American writers out there that I knew of. And so now just being able, because of the internet and because of organizations like Kearney Street continuing to endure, and Kundiman, folks are finding each other or connecting with our elders across this country. So it's so beautiful to be a part of poetry now, and I'm so grateful. So this one is called Too Yellow. Your orb falling over the ocean is a grand clock. You suffer for that which you should not be named for, my skin, my people. You are unfairly suspect, your fever, your peril, though you are as chill as lemonade. You dangle from trees with the ease of a summer spent on a porch swing. The ladies make linen A-line dresses out of lemon print, basking in your light, though it blinds and burns them. Dear Yellow, you have never covered my body. I leave your light in the dark. At 17, I saw a film where the heartbreaker girl only wore green, so my colors turned verdant. When you appear in names of books, I ask, why is it always you? Last spring, I bought a yellow purse and hope that it will turn heavy with gold. As a woman, I am still learning about illumination, how I should never want to fade into silence, and that quiet is strong and often beautiful. No longer green, I write you to learn your minor keys. Our people are rising. We are the new names, the ones we have always known. As long as we're not in the splash zone. Okay. Okay. And this next one, I was thinking a lot as someone who here is from Southern California? Anyone? Woo! So this is my 4th time living in Northern California, and I go home a lot because it's right there, it's an hour away flight. I'm from Long Beach. Shout out Long Beach. And I'm always thinking about am I more Northern California or more Southern California? Like the difference between the Asian experience. So this is kind of my poem dedicated to that, and also just thinking about growing up in the 80s and 90s and always looking out for that Asian connection in the world. This is called All Beyoncés and Lucy Lou's, which some of y'all remember is from an Outkast song 20 years ago. But that was the best moment in the song. It's yes, representation. Lucy Lou's, okay. All Beyoncés and Lucy Lou's. Where are you from? The LBC. Can you speak? Hakao Sumai. June, Lena, Rose, and Waverly. Black tea with boba, 50% ice, 75% sweetness. Bake bow or steam bow? 415 versus 510. Don't trust banh mi over $5. Richmond or Richmond District? What do your people call juk? 8 is lucky in Chinese because it sounds like luck. Why didn't Jet Li kiss Aaliyah? What is the best late night restaurant in Chinatown? The Woman Warrior is canon. Little Girls in Pink and Red. Angel Island Poetry. 80 to 880 to 580 to 980 to 680 to 780. In Berkeley, they are quick with the ma'am. 4 is bad luck. I can't tell Mandarin from Cantonese. Incense altars with oranges. Buddha raising money over his head. The 5 to the 405 to the 605 to the 10 to the 101. Lucy Liu and My Girl Drew. Cameron D and Destiny. If I dress in all black, I can take control. Monolid makeup tips on YouTube. Maggie Chung. Small business ceramic white cat with 1 raised paw. Mixed meat with pan-fried noodles. The 110 to the 105 to the 710 to the 91. Hello Kitty, Little Twin Stars, my melody. I'll calculate my proportions with finesse, like a G6, like a G6. That Joy Luck Club watermelon scene with Russell Wong. In Hong Kong, people look like my relatives. Cameron D went to my high school, facts. Wong Kar-wai films will break your heart. Burmese tea leaf salad. Older folks doing Tai Chi by the BART station. Keanu Reeves is part Chinese. In Hawaiian, his name means cool breeze over the mountains. 213 versus 310 versus 562. A dog named Panda. Get up, Jeremy Lin, we love you. Don't trust a pho place without a number in its name. Yellow Power Ranger, Claudia Kishi, James Iha. Michelle Kwan was robbed in the '98 Olympics. She is divorced and practicing at her ice rink. Fields of Gold Forever, Mulan Against the World, Chinese Love Cash. Thank you. And I'll close with this poem. Thank you so much. For the living in the new world. There are so many ways to walk through a forest, through clover clusters, along a boardwalk lined with skunk cabbages, to a field where we listen to a ghost of song. The hypergreen we step through is the opposite of Los Angeles on fire. Any tree can become a ladder. These trees have too many branches, but it is not my place to revise them. I may be happiest improvising the language a body can make on a dance floor. We are just learning how female birds sing in the tropics. Spring insists we can build the world around us again. How has love brought you here? My head is heavy from the crown. We dream or don't dream and sing in different keys. Don't go down the river without looking back. There is ocean in that tree. Thank you.